Good morning and welcome to the new week of maths. Now we are continuing with our geometry, and this week is all about position and direction. So we're going to be using coordinates a lot this week. So hopefully we can do a bit of a recap. We can remember what we learned in year 4 and we can build on it. Right, our first learning target for today is to identify position in the first quadrant. Okay, so that basically means here we've got, we've seen coordinates before. This one is divided up into 4 different sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And a quad means 4. Okay, we looked at 4-sided shapes last week. So this is when it's divided up into 4, and we will be using this later on this week. But just to start with, we're just going to be using our normal X and Y axis, just one of them here, and just recapping how to use coordinates and how to plot and read them off. So, really quick recap. We've got 2 axes. We've got the Y axis, which is this vertical one here, up and down. I always remember that because Y's got a tail, so it's kind of that long bit there. And the horizontal axis is the x-axis. Okay, so hopefully that's a bit of a recap from before. If you're not sure, then you might want to go back and remember this later on this week. Right, and when we plot coordinates, we always put the x value first and the y value second. Okay, so it's always x first and then the y. So let's have a look at this problem here. So we've got a point that's been marked. When we plot points, we always put a really small, neat little cross exactly where it falls. So Mo is saying that the coordinates for that point is 8, 3. And Alex is saying that the point is 3, 8. Okay, and only one of them is right. Now let's just remind ourselves of that rule. It's the x-axis first, and then the y value. So to read the x value, this is our x-axis, remember, the horizontal one, and the 8 is there. Okay, so the x, the little cross there, is above the 8, so it's the 8 value on the x-axis, and on the y it's 3. Okay, so it would be 8, 3. So Mo is right. Let's have a look at what Alex is saying. Alex is saying the point is at 3, 8. Now remember that 3 is our x value. Okay, so on the x-axis, 3 is there. Okay, so we would be plotting it somewhere along that vertical line there. So 3, 8 would be 3, and then 8 on the y. So remember, we go across, we might need to use a ruler, and it would be there. Okay, so if you understand why Mo is correct and Alex is not correct, then that's going to really help you today. If you're not sure, then ask during Zoom just for us to go over that with you. Okay, so it's really important that you can read those, read the coordinates and use the x and y axis. We have done this when we've done graphs in IPC in science, so hopefully that's a bit of a recap for you. If not, then ask us in Zoom. Okay, so your first task is to read the coordinates. So you've got 7 and then 11. So remember, we always start with the x value, with the horizontal line. So it's 7 is there. So it's going to be something along this vertical line here. And then 11 on the y-axis. Okay, so we go across, up from the 7, across from the 11, and that's going to be the lion. Okay, 2 and 1. So we've got 2 on the x-axis, 1 on the y. That's the panda. Okay, that should be fairly straightforward. Hopefully a bit of a recap there with reading off coordinates. Right, for this next one, you've got question 2, which has got 3, question 3, which has got 2. Now for each of these, it says plot the given coordinates on the grid and join them up to identify the polygon. So remember, our polygon is our 2D shape with straight sides. So you've got to plot those 4 coordinates on this graph here, and then name the polygon that you get when you draw them. Now, this is a bit tricky for to actually work out how to do this. This is a bit, if we had our maths books, this would be a lot easier. So this is the first one. You have one of these in your answer booklets. Now it's really tricky because the answer booklet is in Word, so you can't label this and draw your coordinates and your polygon on there. So various different ways of problem solving this. Number one, if you happen to have some square paper, just like your maths books at home, that would be amazing, okay? You could draw each of these out. Don't forget to label them. Really important that the 0 goes there and the 1 is at the end of that first square, okay? So don't put the 1 there. Make sure the 1 is there and there, okay? So, yeah. Best thing to do is if you have square paper, that would be amazing. You could draw them out. Don't forget to use ruler. Plan B is if you have a printer and you are able to print things off, then you might want to print off this page and then draw them straight on there. Okay, but we know that lots of people don't have printers. So plan C, if you don't have square paper or a printer, is, I'm going to have a go at doing it here. I'm going to be trying to film this at the same time, so it might not be very accurate. What I've done here is I've just taken a photograph on my iPad of this grid here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use markup on here. Now, the problem with this is it's hard to be really neat, so you just have to really try your best. So the first thing I'm going to do is add in as carefully and neatly as I can. So I need to number those. Now this is really important that you number the line, not the square. So don't put your number 1 in the middle of the square, okay? Let me undo that. It needs to go on the line, because don't forget when you plot it, it will go on the line, not in the middle of the square. I know that 5A, we've definitely talked about this when we've drawn graphs in science before, right? Not being very neat because I'm trying to do this quickly and trying to film it. Okay, so once you have labelled your axes, you've got your numbers in, you can then start plotting your points. So the first one that I've got is 1, 1, okay? So 1 on the x, 1 on the y, it's going to be right there, okay? And that needs to be across. I'm looking at this through the camera, not looking at it straight onto the screen, so that's why I'm being really messy. But when you do it, just try and get as accurate as you possibly can. Okay, the next one is 5, 1. Let me see if I can look at it on there. So 5, 1, little cross goes right there. Next one is 5, 5. So 5 on the x-axis, 5 on the y-axis is going right there. And then the next one is 1, 5. So 1 on the x-axis, 5 on the y. Where do they join up? Just there. Okay, now, once you've plotted all your coordinates, what you need to do then is join them up. Now, this is tricky because there's not a straight line function on here. So what you're going to have to do, and you know what I'm like about using a ruler, don't you? So you're going to have to do it freehand as neatly as possible. Okay, so do it slowly, use those lines, and try and join up those coordinates as carefully as you can. Okay, so then when you've done that, you can then write square or whatever polygon it is. Okay, with this, you could then save that, and then you could upload your pictures at the end, or put them all into a pic collage and upload them as one, whatever is best for you. Right, a little bit fiddly, but it's really tricky with trying to work on squares and trying to complete this when we're doing it online. So have a go at doing that. You've got 5 to do. Best way will be if you've got square paper, and then you can just draw out each of these. So 5 of them, 1 for each question. Or you could print off this page if you happen to have a printer and then draw straight onto it. If not, use markup as a picture, or if you've got another way that you can do it, even better. Okay, if you do have a real problem with that, then talk to us in the Zoom meetings today. Okay, this should be a really nice recap of using coordinates and getting confident with that. Good luck, and we'll speak to you later.